You're in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description. You're in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible, because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, 4th in command in the nation of Israel, Lahar. I'd like to salute this brother. Macho. Barak. Yeshabim, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahar.
What, brother? I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
Shalom, Israel. It's time to come get your full dose of truth for the week.
You got Mondays, history class, taught by Officer 500 Shariwan and Officer 500 Ahabawan. 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, you got Word to the Unwise podcast from 6 to 7 p.m. Followed by the main event, Captain and Priest Hadarya teaching scripture breakdown, the Bible like you never heard it before. 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Wednesday, we got Priest and Officer 1000 Awaja teaching you all about the law. Tune in. 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, you got myself, Priest and Officer 5000 Kazak Moth, joined by Priest and Officer 500 Barak Yah, teaching you the Brotherhood class from 5 to 7 p.m. Friday, learn to speak in the Holy Tongue, the Lashawan Qadash class, taught by Officer 1000 Qatar. 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. you shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
You mean everything you need because I know you mean everything to Christ. And Christ means everything to me. And I called on the Lord. I said, that Father, this is real. Will you watch over me? Will you raise them up to be strong? I'm just a man with flesh. This is what you called for in your scriptures. You said they wore studs and fringes, they got it on. You said they follow the law, they doing it. You said under your house shine, they ought to love one another. And they doing it. Mic check. Shalom, shalom. How about Shemi, how Shabba Rakathum to the Akia? How Shamal Thaba Shemi, how Shah to the Agwati? This is the Lashawan Qadash class. And today we're going to go over pronouns and tenses. And per policy, we're going to write out the Lashawan Qadash. I would advise you to write it down. This is great practice. I feel like I missed something. No, I didn't. All right. Yep, write it down. This is always good practice. You know what I mean? Keep you sharp. Because if you don't practice, first of all, you're not going to learn nothing. You're not going to get good. So if you don't practice no other time, you're going to practice while you're watching me. All right. Abagada hawaza hatayaka lamana sa ipa taza kwa rashatha. Write it down, practice it. Say it 5 times. Say it in 5 times. Write it in 5. You know. Now I'm going to do the Assyrian. Be honest, I didn't practice no Assyrian this week. Which is why I don't feel as confident. But I think I'm doing a good job. Hopefully that's not too small. Oh, that ain't bad. The ka and the na look so similar. It's like a roundness to the ka, though. You know what I mean? Whereas the na is more squared off. Oh, right. Then we got to put in the alternate endings. Let me do that. It's ka, ma, and na. So we got ka, which is yeah, these alternate endings get tricky, man. All right, ma's easy. Na. Taza, which is write it down. Don't neglect the Assyrian. Sorry if it's too small. Forgive me. Forgive me if that's too small. But do the same, write it down 5 times. You see the alternate endings, like the ka, the ma, the na, all has alternate endings. Yeah, I wrote that small. Let me see. Let me see if I could do something. I guess that would be just to get that Assyrian, because I did write that small. But the crafts, the work, the penmanship is great. You know what I mean? I got that Assyrian down. You can too. Just practice. Always remember Hebrew right to left. You know, you write it right to left. And in the Assyrian, these are the alternate endings, which is important because the ka is going to look like this at the end of a word. The ma is going to look like this at the end of a word. The na is going to look like that, which is important. You got to know that because you might see this and say, well, that's a wa. But if it's at the end, it's na. Right? And of course, the pa and the taza all have alternate endings. Right? So get it down. Memorize it. Also gonna go over again. We're just gonna hammer home those prefixes and suffixes again. And so you get it down. And then I'm gonna add in the subject pronouns. And then we're gonna go over subject pronouns as well as the tenses. Pretense, present tense, past tense, and your future tense. The rules of it, the different forms of it. When the root word is masculine or the root word is feminine, or when it's plural. So all those rules we're gonna go over as well. You know what I mean? We could look at a couple verses in the Strongs in the Bible. Look at a couple verses how the pretenses are being used. All right, I'm going to erase that. We can go over the prefixes and suffixes now. Hey, shout out my Reb in the chat for checking in. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's for everybody, including myself. Let me take a minute to do that. Yeah, man, make sure you share with somebody, man. This is very important. This is our holy language. You know what I mean? This is as much as part of our culture as, what we wear. You understand? As you see us with our fringes on, Now, this language is that important. So let's make sure we share this truth. Any questions in the chat? I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. If I don't have the answer, I will go to a man that I know has the answer. All right. Yeah, man, bear with me, please. I'm just hammering these prefixes and these suffixes, just to make sure that we really get it down, and we really. Let me try to write bigger this time. Make sure we really getting it down, and we really, got full understanding. All right. As you remember, is I or I am. Ba is in or on. Da is do. Ha is he. Wa is and. I messed that up. Ya is. I didn't know. So like it. Messed up. Ha is the. Ya is he. Cut is like or as. La is to. Right? Yeah. Ma is of or from. Sure. All right, so is I or I am. Ba is in or on. Yahuwah Kafir. So what is the prefix of Isaiah? Those are both names. There is no prefix of Isaiah. They're just names. If you want me to get the name for you, I can. So let me know. As well as Obadiah, I could get you the name. What it is in Hebrew, I could get you the name. But ba is in or on, da is do, ha is the, wa is and, ya is he, ka is like or as, la is to, ma is of or from, sha is which or whom, tha is thee or thou. Write that down. You know, if you ain't got it in your notes already, you know what I mean, put it in your notes. Let me write down these suffixes. You know. So for the brother in the chat, prefixes and suffixes are things that comes before a root word or after a root word. So prefixes comes before a root word, suffixes come after a root word. So these are the characters that you would see becoming or before a root word, and this is what it means. If you see a wa before a root word, it would be and. Understand? Or, you know, like you see up here. For the suffixes, you will see sometimes it has the same character, but it'll be a different meaning. Like yaka. I'll start putting the so ya is my, ka is your, wa is ha is her, no wa is our. Cam is your masculine. Khan is your feminine. Ma is their masculine, and na is their feminine. Once again, we done been over this for 3 weeks straight now. That's why I'm kind of running through it. If you ain't catch the last few classes, go back, you know, watch them over, take notes. You know what I mean? Or just, you know, look up ISUBK, Lashawan, Qadash, prefix, suffixes. You will find every zone is teaching this, you understand? So if you ain't got it in your notes, write it down. If you want a more in-depth, like I said, look it up. I done been over it for the past 2-3 weeks. So just kind of going over it now again as a refresher. And now I'm going to put down, we're going to go over subject pronouns, right? I'm going to put them down in the green just to differentiate, the new lesson. You understand? So, we have Anya. I don't like how I wrote that. Anya is I or I am. And we're going to write it down in the Hebrew. Na. Ya. Ya. Write it down in the Syrian. Na. Ya. What is ya? It's going to come to me. Ya, damn. I'm trying to do it without cheating. Oh. Boom, it came to me. There we go. Anya. You is a tha. Make some space. A tha. Let's do it in the Syrian. Hawa'ah is he. I'm gonna get rid of this. We is Anak Nawa. Right, spelled that right. I skipped she, so lucky. Let's do she first. Is Haya'ah. Yeah. She. Yeah. We is Anak Nawa. Anak Nawa. Anak Nawa. So lucky. Anak Nawa. You or y'all. So that would be for the masculine, plural. Assam. So lucky. Assam. You. Your masculine plural. Athan is you, your, plural, right? Athan. I got they. Do not got an alternate ending. Yep. All right. Athan. Boy, that Assyrian boy. Tricky. I'm gonna squeeze these last two over here. So I ran out of room. We got they masculine plural and they feminine plural, which is and Han is they feminine. Ham and Han is I could do that. It's they masculine plural and they feminine plural. So these are your subject pronouns. So when you're speaking about someone or or a group of people, your subjects, this is what you would use. And we're gonna go through how you would use them differently when you're talking about them present tense as they're doing something, or past tense or future tense. So as they're doing something, or they did something or about to do something, right? So these are the different subject pronouns you would use. Anya is I or am, right? Atha is you. Hawa'a, Salakia, is he. Haya'a is she. Anaknawa is we. Atham is you or you all when you're speaking to a group of men, similar to the salute. You know what I mean? When you saluting a group of brothers, you would say Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak Atham. You know what I mean? Bless Yah. Right? Then you got Athan when you speak to a group of women. Like when we say, like once again, when we courtesy salute to the sisters, Yahweh Shamar Elathan, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, right? Then you got they, masculine plural, is Ham. They, feminine plural, is Han. All right? So these are your different pronouns. Write it down, put them in your notes. Hope you're doing that for everything I'm putting on the board, right? All right, now, since y'all got all that down, we can move on to the tenses, right? Keep these close because you're going to need these. All right, so we're going to start off with present tense, right? In this instance, we're going to use the root word shamar, right? Let's put the, make sure I write big for y'all. Shamar. When you're speaking in the present tense, the rule is add wa in between the first and second letter or character. I'm gonna say letter. I get the point. Add a Y in between the first and second letter, right? So, for our first example, if I say I'm watching, I or I am is anya, right? Anya, sha, more. All right? I'm watching. I'll just say I am watching, right? I am watching. All right. So it changes when you speaking, or if it's when it becomes a feminine. All right. So if you say she is watching, she is haya'a, right? But now you add a let's see, rule. And that at the end. Okay, I know. So when it's a feminine, you still do the same rule, right? You add a wa in between the first and second letter, but then you add a at the end. So let me check my notes. It's ha at the end. It's lucky. Yeah. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. It is yeah, sha. is feminine, it becomes Haya'ah, which is she, right? She is implied in the context. Shawamara, watching. I don't know why I keep spelling that like this. She is watching. Shawamara. Right? That she is feminine. So this is the rule for the feminine. I'm going to put, so y'all know, but Haya'ah, when you look at your notes, right? That's she. So the rule when you speak in the feminine, is add the wa, same as a masculine, in between the first and second letter, but then you add a at the end. So more right? Then you have plural. This is for the masculine, feminine, plural, right? We. We already know what the subject pronoun for we is a nak nawa. The rule is the same as wa in between the first and second letter or character, right? And add yum at the end. Example, right? We know from our notes that we is a nak nawa. We are watching. The R is implied, right? Shawarmariam. This is the rule for the masculine, feminine, plural. And I'm going to go through all the pronouns all over again, but these are just the changes in the rule. So when it comes to shawarmar, that will also be, used for the masculine, he, right? So hawa'a also would be shawamar. It would just be hawa'a shawamar instead of anya shawamar. So it's the same rule, right? The only difference is the feminine. You add the I at the end. So it's haya a shawamara. Shawamaraya. Then now we have another change in the masculine feminine plural. We, right? Speaking as we. We are watching. The R is implied because of the context. Right? We watching. Anak Nawa. Shawamariam. Right? And just don't forget how simple this is. This goes for any root word. These are just the rules for any root words you use. Like I said, I go through all the different. I'm gonna write out all the pronoun sentences as well. But these are just the changes in them. The next change in the rule would be, I don't want to squeeze it in, man. I'm gonna write it in that corner. But the feminine plural, right? So if I say you all or y'all, right? Y'all are watching. It's a different rule, so bear with me. I'm gonna get it in here. Just use black, so y'all know it's different. Rule. Oh yeah, y'all can see that. Hey, shalom, shashabakatah. Shalaki, I appreciate you for checking in. Adawan. Add what in between the first and second characters, then add wath. At the end. Right? Example of that would be you all feminine is a thun. Right? A thun. Sha. Will more. What? Shawamar wath. A thun shawamar wath. And I forgot to. This is the feminine plural. Feminine plural, right? So it's you all. I gotta say it proper sometimes. You all, the R is implied. right? So a group of women, group of sisters, this is how you would say that to them. Athan Shawamar Wath. You understand? I could write out the rest of the examples. Anya. Hawa is he, right? I could write out the rest of the examples right here. Hawa is he. Is implied. Shah. More. Right? Hawa Shawamar. Same rule is right here. You understand? So that's why I didn't write it out like that. It's 3 rule changes you see, right? Mainly for when you speaking to sisters, so there is no confusion on who you speak to in the Hebrew. It's very gender based. You understand? It ain't none of that fluidness you get in the English and they try to change the pronouns. No, when you speaking, you gotta add the pronouns and you gotta add all that into your verbs, So it's very clear on who you're speaking to. So you got the rule change for the feminine, the rule change for plural, which is masculine or feminine. And then it's a rule change for the feminine plural when it's just a group of women. But when it's a group of men and women, it's the same. It's masculine. So we got Haya'ah, which is Shawamara. And then a thumb, which is y'all, masculine, right? Shawamar, yum. Right? Same as when it's we, right? When it's a group of men, a group of brothers. And even when you say Ham Shah Mariam. Which, if you look at your notes, Ham is there watching, right? There as in masculine. They're watching or they are watching. Yeah, I put the wrong there. It's not English class though, so don't hold me to it. They are watching. Same rule, right? Same rule as we are watching. Same rule as you or y'all are watching. Masculine plural. The context would be in a pronoun. You know, is they are watching instead of you or y'all are watching. And then Han, same rule as feminine plural, which I'm all out of space. I'm gonna squeeze it in. Han. More. This is they Jesus Christ. They are watching. Han Shawamar Wath. All right, so that feminine, you add the wath at the end. Right? And you see also in the feminine, when it's not plural, you add the I at the end. That's the difference. And then when it's masculine, you add a yum at the end, right? All in common, they all got the Y in between the first and second letter, character, right? So you could plug in any root word, any verb, I'm gonna pick one out the vocabulary. Looking for drinking. Okay, drink. Shatha. Drink is shatha. Anya. Shawatha would be I am drinking. Now, you could plug in any word just to just understand how simple these pronouns get. Plug in any root word, any verb that you want. This is the rule for it. You add the Y in between the first and second character. You understand? When it's feminine, you add a at the end. So you add the Y in between the first and second character, then you add the at the end. When it's singular feminine, when you're speaking to a sister or about a sister, she is watching. Haya'a shawamara. Now, we, or a group, you will add the yum at the end as the difference. So you add the wa in between the first and second character, you add the yum at the end. Anak nawa. Anak nawa is we. Shawamariam is watching. We are watching. That's the difference. You understand? Here is feminine plural. You're speaking to a group of sisters. It's, a group of sisters. It's add the wa between the first and second character and add a wath at the end. A wath. So it's a than, which is you or you all, speaking to a group of sisters. Shawamar wath. Shawamar wath. And then you have all the shared rule, right? So hawa'a shawamar, that's he is watching, right? Feminine, she is watching, is haya'a, that's down there. Haya'a shawamara. Atham, masculine plural, you all are watching, is atham shawamariyam. Same as the we are watching rule, right? You're speaking to a group of men, even if it's a whole group and there's some women in the mix, if it's men in there, you address it as masculine, shawamariyam. When it's just a group of brothers and it's y'all are watching, atham shawamariyam. Right? Han shawamarawath is they are watching. A group of sisters, that's the feminine they. Han is the feminine for they. Shawamarawath. Right? Same as y'all are watching. Athan shawamarawath. Add the wath at the end. So those are the shared rules. Remember, this is the present tense. Haya means to be doing something, right? To be. Right? So let's look at the past tense and the rules for the past tense. Hopefully y'all got all that down. I'm about to erase it. I'm working with this board. I'm trying to get the spacing down. Hopefully that's not too confusing. I feel like it's, I feel like it's legible. You know what I mean? I'm using a red to showing the rules. You understand? Yeah. If it's not, let me know. I'm gonna work on a different system. I don't know. Trying my best with this board though. Now, for the sake of the board, I'm not writing the Hebrew, but for your notes, for your practice, write out the Hebrew. You understand? Just practice it. Put it down there. You understand? Hebrew, the Paleo, and the Assyrian. For the sake of this board and for the sake of learning, I'm not going to do that. You understand? We went over it earlier. You're a reference guide if you don't have it down by heart. Don't have it down by heart. Do more studying. Get it down. So we're going to use the word lamad or learn. All right? All right, rule. The rule for the past. It's lucky. Rule for the past tense. For anya. Subject pronoun anya. Right? You use the ya at the end. Example. So like trying to see what I need. Anya, Lamad. Which is I learned. I learned. This is the rule for, let me put the subject. Atha. Rule for atha is add the at the end. Example. Is atha lamad Th, Lamad Th. And this is lucky. This is masculine and feminine. You learned is it Th, Lamad Th. Next is Anak Nawa. Anak Nawa is we, right? The rule for that is add Nawa at the end. Anak Nawa, Lamad Nawa. As we learned, right? Subject. The thumb is you are masculine, right? Rule would be add thumb at the end. Right? Example. A thumb, Lamad, a thumb, Lamad thumb. Next is the subject, a thun. You are, which is feminine. A thun, the rule, you add thun at the end. Example, a thun, lamad thun, which is I'll put a mixture between y'all and you all. I'm gonna go y'all, man. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all learning. You know what I mean? No, it's like it. Y'all learned. It's the past tense. And that's y'all learned as well for the masculine. All right? Next, you have they. Is hum. The rule is you add wa at the end. Example of that is hum, lamad, wa. Hum, lamad, wa. And for the feminine version of that, it's the same thing. So as for the masculine and feminine, you add a wa at the end. So it shares the same rule. Han, lamad, wa. Hum, lamad, wa. This is your past tense. Like I said, plug in any root word. Let me go into our dictionary. Trying to find a good word. They spoke, right? We could say debar. You know what I'm saying? I spoke would be Dabar Thaya. You spoke, male or female, where you would have a tha for your masculine, and for your feminine, it would be a than. So a tha, lama, dabar. A tha, dabar, tha. You spoke. We spoke. Anak nawa, dabar nawa. You know what I mean? Masculine, as in y'all spoke. A thumb, dabar, thumb. Feminine is a thun, dabar, thun. Masculine for they spoke is hum, dabarwa. Hun, dabarwa would be the feminine. Right? So these are your rules for the past tense. You understand? Write it down. Like I said, it's that simple. You could plug in any root word to where you following the rules of the Hebrew. You understand? So it's very simple. Just plug in your root word. Stay within the rules. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see if we can look at a couple verses. forgive me. I'm trying to look for a verse. He's all right. Yeah, no. All right, well, yeah. I can't find no verse. Next week, we'll finish off with the tenses, go back over it a little bit more. Still got to hit the future tense, right? So, we'll do that. Throw a couple verbs in there. What else? That's probably about it. With that being said, I'm going to close out here. You understand? I'm Officer 50 Car. This is your Lashawan Qadash class. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabarak Thumb to the Akim. Yahweh Shamar Elathan. Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah to the Akwathium. I appreciate y'all for watching. Shalom, Israel.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isubk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.